If you have ever snapped at someone, lost your cool, or replayed an argument over and over in your head, then this one is for you. Epictetus was a man born into slavery, who lost everything except his mind. He discovered two mental rules that could dissolve anger before it even starts. They are simple, yet they are powerful. And once you practice them, you will realize you were never really at the mercy of your emotions. So let's begin. Epictetus taught that anger is not caused by people or events. It is caused by our judgment about them. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You instantly think, they disrespected me. And that thought lights the fire. But if you could pause and change your interpretation, the emotion loses its power. Here is how Epictetus put it, almost 2,000 years ago. It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. In other words, events are neutral, our reactions are not. When we believe that everything outside our control must also obey our expectations, we suffer. So the first mental shift is realizing that anger is a choice, even when it does not feel like one. That is the Stoic trap, mistaking our thoughts for facts. And escaping it starts with awareness, catching the spark before it turns into flame. Let me share a quick story. Epictetus once saw a man yelling at a servant who dropped a jug of wine. The man was shaking with fury, shouting about respect and carelessness. Epictetus calmly said, "You get angry at your servant for being clumsy, but have you never dropped anything yourself?" The man looked down, because in that moment he saw the truth. Anger is hypocrisy in disguise. We demand perfection from others while excusing our own lapses. And that is why Epictetus gave his students two simple rules, not to suppress anger, but to make it impossible. Let's call them Rule 1, the sphere of control, and Rule number 2, the mirror test. Rule 1 is the sphere of control. This is the cornerstone of all Stoic thinking. Whenever something happens, ask yourself instantly, is this within my control or not? If it is not, Epictetus would tell you that this is none of your business. Someone's opinion of you, not in your control. The weather, traffic, politics, a rude comment online, not in your control. But your thoughts, choices, and responses, those are yours. Imagine if, every time something irritated you, a voice whispered, "This is not yours to control." The situation would not change, but your peace would. Because control is not power over others, it is power over yourself. And that is why the first rule is so liberating. You cannot lose what you never owned. Once you start separating what is yours from what is not, you will find that most of what makes you angry lives in the wrong circle. That is the circle of things you cannot control. Now onto the second rule. The one Epictetus called the hardest discipline. Whenever you feel anger rising, perform this simple check. Have I ever done the same thing I am angry about? If you are furious at someone for being late, remember the time you were late. If someone interrupted you, think of the times you interrupted others. This is humility in motion. Epictetus said, when you see someone sinning, remember that you too sin. The mirror test disarms the ego. It reminds us that others are not villains in our story. They are just humans doing what humans do. You can still hold boundaries. You can still demand respect. But you will do it from calm clarity, not emotional chaos. And here is the hidden bonus. When you stop taking offense, you start taking control. You do not need to win an argument when you have already won your peace. The so-called forbidden hack is not magic, it is mindset. Epictetus believed that anger gives the illusion of power, but in reality, it is a form of slavery. He said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The world will always test you. Traffic jams, critics, work, bad news, betrayal. but none of these can force you to be angry. They can only invite you, and you have the right to decline. That is the true mental hack, the refusal to participate in chaos. Every time you catch yourself reacting, remember the two rules. Is this within my control? Have I ever done the same thing? These two questions build a fortress around your peace. And slowly, anger stops being a reflex. It becomes a choice you simply do not make anymore. So the next time something frustrates you, stop. Breathe. Ask the questions. And smile. Because you are practicing something only a few people ever master, the art of not being ruled by anger.